Well, welcome to today's Safe World by Design webinar. As usual, we'll have a presentation, not too long, going on for the next 30 minutes or so from Daniel Bergwinkel, our speaker for today. And then we'll have a chance to hopefully have some good discussion. You can place your questions in the question box or the chat at any time, or we can even unmute people during the discussion, depending on how it's going. And today we wanted to discuss the topic of data compliance. We're always paying attention to topics related to quality data management and integrity. And in this one, we focus on compliance because there's an increasing number of new regulations and guidance, including um, that related to artificial intelligence. So a lot to navigate through. So hopefully, with Daniel's help, we'll start to get some understanding of some of these issues maybe we need to catch up on. So with that, I hand you over to Daniel. Daniel, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Barry. So today we want to dive into the current landscape of data compliance, especially in the AI age. Yeah? So we want to discuss new regulations and frameworks in the following areas. On first, the AI compliance requirements and new legal requirements, then updates on data quality and data governance. Also, as a third point, what's new in the area of document management for regulatory records. And as a last point, the new buzzwords on one side, data sovereignty and data spaces. And I want to start with a small use case. And imagine a consumer has a question, are temporary henna tattoos safe? And as we all know, the first thing is, should we ask ChatGPT or Google Gemini? And if we ask such a large language model, then the answer sounds really informative. However, we are not sure if the answer is correct. For example, there are no warning signs, and in this case, there are also no sources cited. So this brings us to the question: if in the future consumers ask about safety risks, what happens? And I have chosen this example because also the FDA has an informative web page with this question. So typically also Google or ChatGPT would have indexed, taken information from this web page, but is it really safe? So it brings us to the question, on one side, questions about the AI. Is this AI system really reliable, explainable, and reproducible? So, and what is the risk for the consumer if he trusts this AI? So, is it like a Google search engine, or is a large language model more in this direction of a medical decision support system? Furthermore, we have to ask, which data was used for the training to answer the question, was the data quality enough? With the large language models also, what's the current state of the knowledge? As we know, there's the keyword of knowledge cut-offs of large language models. So what's the latest state that the model was trained with new training data? Is there any regulatory evidence or regulatory data taken to train the data? And also, was the data fair in the sense of findable, attributable, interoperable? And if we go one step further, also the question arises, who's responsible for the governance of this whole large language model? As you have seen in the press, there are discussions about the governance of the company OpenAI. last week they have taken a new model how they want to ensure their security and governance, and some people complain about it, but also political risks. So what is if such an AI system is operated by a vendor from US, China, and Russia, and there are maybe in the future trade conflicts or wars? So many questions, and the lawmakers around the world have also tried to deal with these topics. And today we will discuss these 4 topics. On one side, news about the AI regulation. Here, the European AI Act is one example. Then in the area of data quality, there's a new EMEA data quality framework. News about document management of regulatory records. Here, the FDA has updated their requirements for cosmetics. And as an outlook, also the question, do we need data spaces to share trustworthy data for research, but also for consumers, is a topic of the future. But first, let's dive into AI compliance. There have been all over the world attempts to propose frameworks and governance frameworks for AI, and one of the latest is the EU Artificial Intelligence Act. It takes ideas of the OECD principles for trustworthy AI systems, and also the ISO standards committee. They have worked on a ISO standard for AI management systems. The US government also has placed some requirements as executive order, and the National Institute of Standards and the FDA have also published frameworks that are on one side covering all aspects of AI, on the other side FDA, for example, focusing on medical devices that use machine learning or AI methods. So important for you is and for us is to align these requirements if we start AI projects, so that we take the relevant standards into account and also think about ethical and legal compliance. And the EU AI Act, which has been published this year, aims as a horizontal framework for AI systems, so covering all industry sectors. And important is that it takes a risk-based approach. So the EU says there are AI applications with a high risk, with limited risk and minimal risk, but also AI applications that are prohibited in the EU, like social scoring. So this means if you are producing AI application, then you have to assess if your system falls in one of these categories. And as this legal framework has been published, there was also the discussion about consumer safety. On the other side, innovation and how can European players also compete in a world of AI that is dominated sometimes by US players. And here's a quote from, some say it's from a French Revolution from Voltaire, some say it's also from a Spider-Man movie. So with great power comes great responsibility. And we have seen in this course of this AI Act that is also the question about data sovereignty. So do we need a European large language model that is independent from US or Chinese large language models? And there have been also discussions about the security and openness of the company OpenAI that is currently a little bit dominating this space. As outlined, it's important to see what are the risks of your future AI applications. If it is only used in research, then these categories do not apply. But if it is placed in the EU as an application that consumers or companies can use, then you have to choose a category, and depending on the category, you have to do, for example, also a conformity assessment and show how you manage the risks and how you govern the data that feeds into this um, AI application. So one short takeaway is a must-have for AI projects is the AI governance. So risk assessment, thinking about a framework, and also thinking about the skills and awareness of the users and the developers. And we are currently working on some papers which we present in September, in October, which cover these topics: AI and FAIR principle, explainability, and the compliance with regulatory guidances. As we all know, and now we come to the next topic, AI applications need data with high quality, and clearly also AI systems have to respect, for example, data protection rules if they process personal data. And here, from the area of data quality and governance, I want to highlight a new data quality framework by the European Medical Agency that also highlights that data quality is you have to have the purpose for the application that you are working on, and then you can assess which level of data quality do you need. Yeah, and especially this framework is designed to to give metrics in the area of regulatory decision making in the health sector. And there are four main ideas and guidances in this new framework, which I want now to highlight. On one side, they put a focus on the aspect of the specific question that your data analytic team is working on. So also the data quality must match to the specific questions that you want to answer. And there are several layers where you can work out metrics so that you can measure the data quality. The next viewpoint is that you have to document the data lifecycle, so the data processing workflows that generate the evidence, and clearly this has to be documented, and there has to be a traceability how you have procured the data, how the data is processed and then delivered for consumption. If you are in the area of data governance and data quality, you know there are more likely 100 metrics for measuring data quality, and it's sometimes not easy to agree with the stakeholders what data quality is. And the DQF framework tries to have a explainable and easy to understand model for data quality. So with questions, is the data sufficient? Is it analyzable? Is it available at the right time? And is it the right kind of data? And is it trustworthy? These high-level metrics and questions also business managers can understand. However, you have to break them down and clearly also to have performance indicators. The data quality framework also provides a model, a maturity model, so that you can try to start with ad hoc processes, and the vision is clearly to have a automated data quality checks, to have constantly improvement and feedbacks, and also that you can also focus on the questions that you are looking for. So we are looking forward also to apply these data quality frameworks in our projects, and will be interesting also to see then the first results. And clearly, data is important, but also the document management, really sometimes old-fashioned paper or PDF documents, they are currently are still relevant for our regulatory discussions. And here is one example how the compliance requirements in, for example, the cosmetic industry are modernized. So as we know, the FDA has since 20 years published requirements for the pharma sectors, and the pharma sector, for example, uses since 20 years electronic signatures, and has also document management like submission of dossiers in a very professional manner. And now some of the principles would also apply to the cosmetics industry. So on one side, there are increased requirements for product registration. The FDA has also oversight over the records, and the labeling and adverse events reportings will be similar to the pharma sector. So this means all cosmetic companies that will want to sell cosmetics in the US, they have to have improved safety measures. They have to have a product registration and labeling similar to the pharma companies. The FDA has an increased oversight, and in case of adverse events, they can look into and request records that state the safety and of the product. And clearly, the adverse event reporting is similar to the pharma sector. Here's a small citation. So this means the FDA can request records of the cosmetic companies if there is evidence, or if there are adverse events. And this means that cosmetic companies have to improve their document management to the same level as pharma companies do it today. And here's a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, so also that she says, safety of the people shall be a highest law in the realm of cosmetics. So with this Modernization Act, clearly the requirements increase. And we are currently working with our Swiss software partner Triboni on a FDA compliant records management system for also the cosmetics sector. This system is already now in use at pharma companies, and includes electronic signatures and workflows and reviews, for example, for standard operating procedures. Our last update topic from today are the keywords data sovereignty and data spaces. And data sovereignty is the fact that some regions and countries like Switzerland, they have to minimize the risk if data is stored, for example, in the US and China, and the goal is that a region or country minimizes the dependencies on cloud or technology providers from other countries. And one of the ideas in this area is the data space concept. This means that, for example, the EU wants to create a data sharing infrastructure so that digital information can be shared for research, but also for different industry sectors, so that all participants and in the end effect also the consumer has advantages. And there are several EU data space initiatives, for example, for health, for agriculture, and also for automotive and for the mobility sector. And this also plays into the topics that we have discussed before in the AI and data. So if we look at the at Europe, and the vision is that there's a legal framework, the EU AI Act and the GDPR. Then the question, are there any European large language models independent from US or Chinese companies? Then the idea to have on one side research infrastructure with the Open Science Cloud, but also data spaces where industry participants and researchers can share data, and that the data centers are used in Europe. And one of the examples is this new initiative, European Health Data Space. And as we see, this initiative is also aligned with the legal frameworks with GDPR, Data Governance Act, and the AI Act. So to conclude, here are the four takeaway messages. The first is about AI. So going forward, it is important to assess the risk if you are developing an AI application, and to have the adequate documentation, and if necessary, also a conformity assessment if required. And for example, a high-risk AI application would have to have a conformity assessment if it is used in Europe in production in the context of consumers or companies. Clearly, the second point is data quality is also a key for AI and regulatory compliance. And here we still have to on one side, have to have data quality for the tabular data or classical table data, but also the document management is still important because it then represents the records that are regulatory relevant, for example, for adverse events. And the last point is about data spaces. So the outlook is that data spaces are for collaboration, but also with this idea of minimizing risks. And one citation is, do not put all eggs in one basket. And if we transfer this into the digital age, it would be, do not put all of your data in one basket of a cloud provider that is located in a foreign country. So I hope you had a good overview about the four topics, and we can now have a discussion and question and answer session.